say that no one can stand the star of this movie.
Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged. I truly do believe that.
And it just goes to show you exactly why she is so universally rejected right now.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
They're remaking the movie. They just got rid of the dwarves. Okay,
but what do they call them?
Why would they get rid of the dwarves, though?
Magical creatures.
But they have one token dwarf amongst these magical creatures. You actually just went backwards. You actually just erased the dwarfism side of it. The disability, like we're a disability group. You just erased that whole image. The argument should have been from Peter Dinklage. There's power of being on TV. There's power of television. And to put 7 people with dwarfism on camera in a major Disney movie, there's still power there. If the story is offensive, change the story. Don't change the characters.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
This is someone who is as entitled as, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up and do the job.
I know this point has been made, but this truly is the worst casting maybe in the history of the film industry.
I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable, like the majority of people in Hollywood. They're just not stable human beings. I would highly advise that you boycott this film, no matter how much your children love Snow White.
Man.
Hello, Disney. You're going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense.
Doom is a love story just because, we cast a guy in the movie, right. Andrew Burnap. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Now, for Disney, as you probably remember, all of this publicity, the Zegler interviews, the Daily Mail leak, caused a lot of unexpected, for them anyway, pre-production problems. People weren't supposed to see and understand just how unwatchable the new Snow White was going to be. It was supposed to be, kind of a surprise, but now there was no hiding it.
I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
It sounds like you're one of the only ones there, just like Rachel Zegler, as it turns out, and we part with this video of Rachel Zegler alone in a theater watching herself. One of the most unlikable humans.
That is sadder than when the original Snow White eats the apple.
And Disney isn't just doing damage control. They're in full-scale cleanup mode. Without making a scene, Snow White merchandise is disappearing from shelves and online listings. No clearance sales, no fire sale bundles, just gone. Insiders say leftover dolls, costumes, and products are being quietly pulled, boxed up, and in some cases, even destroyed. Not to save face, just to stop the bleeding.
I am walking into Snow White, 2 p.m., now seating. Let's see how empty it is. I hope it's off the boat we go. I hope. Sound like I hear a couple of people.
Rachel Zegler just keeps making things worse with the Walt Disney Company. The more that she tries to defend this movie, the more that she tries to spew her agenda onto the general public, it's only making matters worse. Not just for Bob Iger, but for whatever is left of the image of Disney as a whole.
It's almost surreal. A franchise once predicted to dominate retail is now being erased like it never existed. After widespread boycotts and plummeting sales, Disney executives reportedly chose to bury the merchandise right alongside the film's reputation.
I just want to tell you guys about a incredible movie that just came out, Snow White. Wow. I just got to tell you, best movie I've seen in years, and there have been some really, really good films lately. Madam Web, Rebel Moon Part 1, that movie, that transgender one with the Mexican drug lord. But Snow White blows them all away. Chat, this movie has everything. Horrifying CGI, little people, check. A feminist princess who don't need no man, double check. Diddy dance party at the end. double Diddy check. All this to say, go see Snow White right now. The new one. Not that old stupid one where the princess gets saved by some good, upstanding guy.
Rebrand. No revival attempt. No farewell promo. Just silence. It doesn't feel like a flop. It feels like Disney is trying to erase history. As if Snow White 2025 never happened at all.
Oh wow, Snow White flop. Who is surprised? You cast arguably the least genuine, most out of touch, and disliked person in her industry, and her industry is Hollywood. And the bad guy is Gal Gadot.
And the unraveling didn't begin with the movie. It started with Rachel Zegler. Her press tour turned viral for all the wrong reasons. Instead of promoting the film, she became the internet's favorite target for mockery and criticism.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937. She's going to be safe with the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
In one viral clip, Rachel openly mocked the original Snow White, calling it creepy and outdated. In another, she called the prince a stalker. What was supposed to be a charming press circuit felt more like a roast of a beloved classic.
Focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. Super weird. So we didn't do that this time.
To Disney fans, this wasn't bold or fresh. It was offensive. Social media lit up with side-by-side clips comparing Rachel's jabs to the grace of the original princess. By the time the film released, audiences didn't show up for nostalgia. They came with receipts. And then came the infamous royalties moment. In what should have been a playful interview, Rachel demanded to be paid every time someone streamed the movie.
And there are 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
Backlash was instant. Memes exploded. Tweets went viral. People were baffled. How could a lead in a $100 million Disney movie be complaining about streaming royalties before the film even dropped? It painted Rachel as entitled, out of touch, and more concerned about getting paid than playing the part. Even her co-star Gal Gadot couldn't hide the tension. At the Oscars, the discomfort was impossible to ignore.
Welcome, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot.
Visual effects push the boundaries of what we see on screen.
Their work makes the impossible seem possible.
With breathtaking ambition, they create magic that wraps its arms around our wildest imaginations.
Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
No eye contact, stiff posture, a frozen smile that vanished before the cameras did. Behind the scenes, insiders say Gal had already distanced herself, keeping interactions minimal and fulfilling only the bare minimum of press obligations. The dynamic didn't create synergy, it exposed the disconnect. And then came Rachel's version of Snow White. No prince, no romance, no dwarfs. Marketed as a feminist reinvention, but seen by fans as a buzzword-heavy reboot with no soul.
Snow White gets her name, not from the fairness of her skin, as we obviously know Rachel Zegler would be a miscast in that sense. Instead, she gets her name from surviving a snowstorm.
That audiences walk away from this film with an understanding of the true meaning of fairness, of what it means to be fair in this world. There is a message that's been carried on for almost 90 years now from the original animated classic. That is, fairness is what is within. Fairness is to do with your heart, the way you treat the people around you, and it has nothing to do with what you look like, and that's the misunderstanding between Snow White and the Evil Queen. I think it's such an important message, and the way that Disney has elevated it and brought it to this new audience is very special.
Audiences didn't see empowerment. They saw a lecture. The heart was gone. Disney, a studio known for balancing message and magic, completely missed the mark. And Rachel became the face of that misfire. No amount of edits or rebranding could fix what was already broken. When Snow White hit theaters, the damage had already been done. The film limped out with a $45 million opening and a dismal 1.6 IMDb rating. It wasn't a stumble, it was a spectacular collapse. Fans didn't just skip it, they celebrated its failure. And right in the middle of that disaster, a bizarre twist. an AI-generated Rachel Zegler OnlyFans account started trending. It wasn't real, but for a moment, the internet wasn't sure. That moment of doubt said everything. Rachel had become a digital punchline. Behind closed doors, Disney was in crisis mode. This wasn't a standard box office miss. It was a full-blown catastrophe. Theaters began quietly dropping showings. Matinees replaced with safer options. Evening slots cut back. In some places, Snow White was buried so deep in the schedule you'd need GPS to find it. And just when things couldn't get worse, an old chapter resurfaced, the forgotten Wicked feud. Before Snow White, Rachel reportedly lobbied hard for the role of Elphaba in Wicked, pushing her way into early talks. But insiders say the warning signs were already there. Dominating interviews, clashing with talent, overstepping boundaries. The Wicked producers passed. Disney didn't. Now Rachel's career isn't just stalling, it's suspended. Once a rising star from West Side Story, she's now the cautionary tale everyone in Hollywood is studying. The movie flopped. The interviews backfired. The PR was a mess. And even her co-stars seemed to want nothing to do with her. Worst of all, Rachel doesn't seem to realize it. She's still posting, still speaking, still trying to be heard. But the real question is anyone still listening? Studios aren't calling, co-stars aren't defending, fans aren't showing up. And the silence? It's louder than any tweet. The industry isn't cruel, it's calculating. And right now, it's calculating the cost of trusting Rachel Zegler. With another major franchise, from Disney darling to digital disaster, her fall didn't happen overnight. It happened clip by clip, quote by quote. Until one of the most anticipated fairy tale reboots of the decade turned into a cautionary tale. And ironically, it's a story that ends not with a kiss, but with a warning. In Hollywood, being the fairest of them all starts with knowing when to stop talking.